Hey, hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Kandace and Denise.
Good morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are being joined this morning, by Sergeant Joseph Jordon of the TTPS. Good morning and welcome to you. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. Good morning to your viewing and listening audience. I am good. Thanks for having me here this morning.
All right, great. Now, I want to get started with some of the things that are happening within the space. First of all, we heard some reports over the weekend that some investigations are going on in regards to the controversial audio tape. What information can you share with me in regards to that?
Controversial tape. Which one are you referring to?
Well, the the one which was released regarding some voices that were senior people within the THA, particularly the Chief Secretary, in alleging that or the strategic meeting where they were discussing the use of propaganda within their
All right.
yeah.
All right. So on that matter, now the Commissioner of Police has directed that certain directives or direction be taken. Now, yes, the public may want to have detailed information, but I cannot provide detailed information on that. What I would say as relates to that matter, a number of claims made by the Chief Secretary, the THA, are being investigated or being looked at. And when the necessary information is gathered and if there is reasonable cause that anything to be checked on, that will be done and the public will be notified accordingly. But at this point in time, the police is taking a look into the matter as being directed by the Commissioner of Police.
Is it true that devices were taken from certain individuals as part of the investigation?
At this point in time, I have no information on that, so I cannot see.
All right. Now, moving on. Now, we've had a lot of events that happened over this weekend. Particularly, there was an accident involving 3 teenagers.
All right. So, yes, we had an accident on Saturday gone where two teenagers in particular, aged 15 and 17, they would have stolen a vehicle from a car rental in the Crown Point area. The 15-year-old was the driver, and that vehicle collided into a TSTT post and eventually burst into flame. Now, an onlooker or a villager would have seen the incident and would have rescued the occupants of that vehicle before it burst into flame. So we want to be thankful to that villager who would have observed what is taking place. Now, those persons are at the hospital, and the police are taking the necessary steps, as they say, investigating that crime. I can also say that those individuals are persons who have been in or have been interest of the police in times gone by. So this is not the first time we are encountering them. And once again, it goes back to as it relates to general supervision of our children. So at least 2 of them, they are 117 and 115, and they are relatives. So that investigation is ongoing, and so a number of things can come out of that, such as driving a vehicle without the vehicle owner's consent, malicious damage to government and state entity property, like the lamppost. A number of things can come out of it, and so the investigation is going to take place, and as soon as charges, if necessary, the public will be informed.
So if I understand it correctly, it is possible that these teenagers can be charged for this?
It is possible once the investigation goes that way, and that is all. That investigation is also dependent on what the owner of the vehicle would like as well. So the police would do what they have to do, and the owner would also do what they need to do. So there will be some action will be taken in that instance.
It is also my understanding that the teenagers that were involved were some troubled youths within the area.
Right, as I mentioned shortly, they are persons that we have encountered before, and it's what we want to say repeat offenders. And as I often see or remind persons, many of the people or individuals who run afoul of the law, sometimes it's not the first time, right? And that is one of the challenges we have with many of our criminal elements. As in times gone by, we would have had something like the repeat offenders unit, and they try to treat with persons who continue to commit crime, and there is no form of rehabilitation taking place. And this is what is sometimes causing the challenge for the police officers. So sometimes, many of the times, we have instances where persons ask for the criminal record, where you go for one of the reasons they would ask somebody to go and do a CFC, and that is to show if these persons have committed offenses and if they are repeat offenders.
Now, what are some of the other updates on events that took place over the weekend?
All right, so let me just go back to our initial aspect of my general updating. So we're going to look at our statistics as relates to 2022 versus 2023, and the period under reviews from January 1st to July 8th. And we have, as relates to our serious report crimes, in 2022, we would have recorded 409, whilst in 2023, we are now recording 331. So we are seeing a 19% decrease in SRCs. As it relates to our detection rate, we have a slight increase. We now going to 29%. Now, in addition to that, our national mandate, according to our operational and strategic plan, the commissioner has been mandated to reduce serious report crimes by 15%. So far, Tobago is at 19%. So we are above the required measure, and we want to ensure that that continue to increase. We want to thank the general public and our officers for making that happen. So what we have seen over the last year, there's a steady reduction in serious report crimes in Tobago. Now, I often have to go along the line of, yes, we have seen an increase in murders as we compare the period, because around the same period, or the period of that we are comparing, we would have recorded 7 this year as versus 4 last year. So generally, there is an increase in murders. However, we are challenged right now. We are seeing an increase in robberies. And I would like to look at some robberies that took place over the last week. So between Monday and Tuesday of last week, we would have recorded, I think, about 3 robberies, right? 2 persons were robbed in the Crown Point district, in particular, at the Stumpy compound,
Yes.
right? And those 2 persons were relieved of their jewelry at gunpoint. Fortunately, those 3 persons, we had 3 suspects in custody thereafter. So charges would be laid soon. And as a result of that, through a collaborated effort with the or IATF, Joint Army Patrol, and officers of the Sherva and Crown Point districts, a firearm was also recovered. And it is suspected that was the firearm used in the robbery. Now, we would have had a burglary at Signal Hill, Lambo, where persons, about 4 men armed with firearm, went into the home of an individual and ransacked the house, and also jewelry was taken from that home. Upon leaving, several shots was fired at the home. Fortunately, no one was answered. So it brings us to the point where at least these 3 robberies, burglary, the main items were jewelry, and it also has to show that the motive of these actions is worth noting, and there may be a connection or there may not be a connection. However, we are looking at the connections, and it's something that we want to be mindful of.
And is it common at all to see reports of robberies that jewelry is the item of choice?
Right. Well, most of the times with robbery of that nature, because there are different types of robbery, people would take robbery, basically will take whatever is of value. And it might be almost strange to see that a wannabe robber see you have a big gold chain and just probably just take your watch and leave your gold chain. So it is the intent of most persons who commit those crimes to take whatever they can, and jewelry being the value that it is, they would target that. And this is where we would advise persons, or at this point in time, people that be mindful as to where and how they wear their jewelry. Some people might say, but it's my thing, I work hard for it, I buy it. But you're also putting your life in danger. And the instances that it would have been late in the night, this is after 10 p.m. in the night, or between the hours of 10 p.m. and around 2 a.m., these incidents would have happened. And it really wonders as to the mindset of our persons. Now, the first two incidents would have taken place basically in a public place. Now, the other incident would have taken place at a home. So you broke into somebody's home with the intent to find jewelry and money. And this is where it is very much challenging for the police, because we are seeing people, they are going to all lengths and breadth to commit crime. But we are asking that the general public be mindful as to what you do. Check your surroundings. And it comes back to the basic security measures. If you are home, let us look at lighting, proper lighting, the use of CCTV, the use of canines. All these things can assist in you protecting your home. And on the note of or going back on the point of the robbery, as I said, we are getting success as relates to the capture of these personnel. It is a reactive approach. However, we were able to get several suspects as well as recover a firearm. So that is good. We thank the public for that information, and we continue to work with members of the community to ensure that we can get crime to a minimal. On that note, on Wednesday of last week, we would have had a town meeting at Signal Hill. And I'm drawing reference to that town meeting because in thanking the residents, they gave the police ideas as to what we can do also to assist us in being proactive, as well as the community having initiatives of their own to assist in making sure that their environment or their communities are safe. So we encourage persons to attend town meetings. We are having one today at Speyside, and we are encouraging the residents of Speyside to come out and speak with the police. It is not a one-way channel. It is a two-way channel that is encouraged so that persons can share ideas, and we can also, come up with philosophies that we can better police our communities.
Great. And you know, as you spoke about CCTV cameras, how much has that assisted in the solving of these crimes, especially the robberies and so on that are happening within our space?
Right. CCTV provides an extremely amount of assistance in solving crimes. However, there are instances where persons may have CCTV, but it's not working, or it may not have captured the information or the event at that point in time. And outside of the national grid of CCTV, persons have their own private CC at their homes. Not everybody might be willing to share, but I would say this much. It is often very amazing that when incidents happen, persons would place it on the social platform and share it all over the place. And sometimes when the police require that assistance, conveniently, that said CCTV footage, it ain't working. I don't have any. And how could we solve crime when we do not partner with one another? The police, as relates to a crime, the police is somewhat reactive, so we are going to seek information thereafter. If the police is present on a crime scene, we can act. But if we are not, we are now seeking, our information would come from the general public, the general audience, a witness, as it relates to what would have transpired, and we are seeking information from that person. So we continue to ask the public to partner with us in order for us to solve crime. And not only solve crime, but be proactive in bringing measures that are going to prevent crime from happening.
And certainly that information that you've already gotten from those that have cooperated have led to the conclusion of a lot of the investigations.
Yes, yes. And we continue along that path. Now, our initiatives in the Tobago division has extended to Trinidad as well, is that we are doing more stringent patrolling styles. We are doing joint army patrols. We are doing interagency approaches, and we are seeing that being success, because in that effort in recovering that firearm and capturing those suspects, congratulations to the team, because it was a all hands on board approach which resulted in the capture of these persons.
And it was the same night.
And it was the said night. All right?
Yeah.
So it showed that collaborating is working, and we can see from in the Tobago division, our plans that we have implemented by our assistant commissioner and our senior superintendent, it is bearing fruit, because we have been able to capture a number of persons, we have been able to prevent a number of crimes, and we continue to encourage our officers to be proactive in their approach. It is the only way for us to solve crime, and what we want in Tobago in particular is to keep our country safe. We do not want the elements or the extent to which Trinidad is suffering from to come to Tobago or to be that prevalent. So we are putting the necessary things in place to have it done.
And of course, it is something that can only be done through partnership with every part of society.
Certainly. And we continue to, because even programs like these, this is how we're going to partner. So because I can speak about our tongue meetings of the past that would have born certain ideas, and the tongue meetings that are to come, we continue to encourage persons, business personnel, up your security measures. If it means, especially if you can afford it, get some private security to assist. Now, the police cannot be everywhere. Our main mandate, yes, is to protect and serve. But in Trinidad and Tobago, there is not a police to every citizen.
No.
Right? And therefore, we are asking personnel, we know this is the holiday time. We are asking you to ensure that you employ people that are trustworthy, because everybody now, they are looking for, sometimes we're looking for an end. Everybody want to earn some extra cash. Persons are now coming out of school, they will be looking for employment. How will the police is going to assist with that? We have our certificate of character. Let persons apply to ensure that they don't have any criminal record. Ask within the community, what about this person? Because now, the certificate of character would only capture persons who may have committed crimes. You could imagine you have somebody committing crime for many, many years and we have no record of them. A certificate of character is not going to help. And this is where you're going to look at people's character by the community from which they come, by speaking with persons. Sometimes you could, especially young persons coming out of school, you could have a conversation with a teacher. And these are some of the ways you're going to know who are the best person to employ. So security measures must be put in place. You have to be proactive and not reactive in that instance to avoid persons, whether say, as we say, attacking your business or causing you to have greater losses than you ought to have.
And as you mentioned, school children and so on, what are some of that advice that you have for parents at this time, especially where we are on the July-August vacation?
Right. So I wanna refer to that accident, that serious accident that would have taken place with those teenagers. This is where we speak about supervision of your children. Why it is that in the late hours of the night you are roaming the streets to the point that you would have stolen a vehicle from a car rental, crash it, injure yourself, and the vehicle also caught a fire. This is a very concerning matter to us. And this is where we want to encourage parents that during this time, enroll your children, and if you can enroll them in camps. We speak about enhancing their career. Persons, as I said, persons are looking for jobs now. Everybody want to get an extra dollar, but it must be done in an orderly manner. We speak about having the children involved in community projects. We ask persons to enroll their children sometime in the police youth clubs because they are available and it's an avenue to ensure that children are on the right path. So the police youth clubs are there. If you have, for example, some organization may have programs, or as we say, over July, August vacation programs, you can invite the police to come and speak to your charge, your young charges as relates to offenses such as sexual offenses, larceny, generally how to conduct yourself. And the police not only operates within the July-August period, but during the school period, and this is where we have officers assigned as much as possible. Officers are assigned to the schools so that if there are problems within the school, you can engage that officer. And these are some of the programs that we continue to roll out or continue to pursue in order to ensure that our young minds are kept on the right path. So it doesn't give us any additional work. A crime-free society shows the work of the police, not a high crime rate with a high detection rate. What we want is to keep crime at a minimal. As Robert Peel indicated, that the police measure is on the absence or the limited amount of crime taking place. So it means that crime, in order for us to be successful, we need to be proactive.
All right, and I guess with those words, we can wrap our conversation this morning. And certainly, I mean, I'm going to throw it out to the public that, you know, we really do need to continue partnering with the police because crime is everybody's business and everybody does have a responsibility when it comes to keeping our society safe and, you know, making sure that we protect ourselves.
Certainly. So I thank you for reinforcing that information to the general public. And in Tobago, we are accustomed to the neighborly love, and we want to encourage that. And as you often say, if you see something, say something. And I know the issue of trust always comes up with that statement. However, we have our 800 tips and 555 that you can communicate with, as well as we often have a trusted officer that you may be aware of. Communicate with them so that we can bring a reduction and be proactive in our approach to crime and our social ills.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if the police don't know about what's happening or they don't have the information, how can they solve the crime? Right. So your voice is definitely needed. You know, ignore the concerns that or the talk about whether or not you can trust the police. You need to forget that and just continue reaching out. Make sure that your information is out there. All right, so I want to thank you, Sergeant Jordon, for joining us. And viewers, most importantly, thank you for watching. And just hope you have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. And we will see you again tomorrow.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and